Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is the Executive Director of the Greater Lansing Food Bank, Joe Wald. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me here today.
Always busy, I know, at the food bank, both collecting and distributing food. Certainly this time of year as we head through the holiday season, perhaps there's a little more need out there than ever. But this year, as we're talking about the hungry, I know you're using some new terminology and talking about those who are food insecure. What's the difference?
Food insecure is a new term that we've recently identified, and what it refers to is the people who have to make a choice. There's more and more people now who are earning a living, who have a job, who may be insured, but they're probably underinsured. And these are the people who have to decide if they're going to pay for their food, their rent, their health care, their utilities. They can't cover it all. And so what we want to do at the food bank, and food banks around the nation, is we want to take food out of that equation so that they know they will have meals on their tables.
So you're not necessarily just providing food to maybe a homeless population?
No, more and more we're not seeing a homeless population. We're seeing families, we're seeing people with jobs, and we're seeing more and more people who recently were our donors and our volunteers who have come upon hard times, seniors who thought they had their retirement secure, who now need some help. And so they're in for a short time until they get back on their feet. This is one of the things that we're seeing more and more, that we're able to help people to get through this tough period. That's what food insecurity is becoming more and more.
You mentioned this short time. Are these more short-term needs? Perhaps that's the silver lining, if there is, that these people are able to get back on their feet and not need help, all year long, year after year?
There are more and more people who really need that short-term help. We're seeing returning veterans. We're seeing seniors who we never saw before. Many kids, upwards of half of the people we serve are children. Families with jobs. So these are the people that we're serving, but more and more people are in for a period of time as opposed to through a chronic time.
And you rely certainly on donations, monetary as well as food donations, in order to be able to pass the food and provide this food. Who is donating? Who should be donating? How can people donate?
We are getting donations from across our community, business donations, individual, but most recently we have children who have decided, instead of a birthday party, they want their friends to bring a can of food, a box of food. And we have 2 8-year-olds recently who donated in the hundreds of dollars and hundreds of pounds of food that their friends donated to them. I think they set a great example for our community. Right now we're in the midst of our annual holiday campaign, and that campaign last year raised $1 million. It's about what we're going to need to spend on food this year, and so we're going to ask the community once again to step forth to help us to make sure that nobody in our community will go hungry.
And how far does $1 go, or $10 or $100 if somebody is able to make a donation?
Well, we buy by the truckload, and whereas you or I may go out and buy for $1, $2 a can of food, for $1 or a couple dollars, we can buy 50 items of food. We buy pennies on the dollar. And so when we bring in by the thousands of pounds, and then we turn around and we distribute by the thousands of pounds. It's really going to go a long way, whatever we can get from people, however they can help us, because there is a need in our community, and the community's always step forth.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
For more information on today's topic, you can visit greaterlansingfoodbank.org. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Joe Wald, the Executive Director of the Greater Lansing Food Bank.